All right, what's up, YouTube? So I know I wasn't able to, go ahead and, show you live trading action from the market since it was open, but now the market is closed. But, I wasn't really too concerned about, trading a stock right now. I had an interview for an internship, so hopefully that goes well and I get the internship. But we're going to go ahead and jump into, screen sharing. So as you see here, all the stocks that I have that are bullish on the market have now turned negative. So we're gonna hold these names a little bit longer. We're gonna see how much pain can we take as a long-term investor. So we have Berkshire Hathaway, we have Chesapeake. This is the oil trade. Oil was down. You need to know why oil is down. Dust is a gold short. Gold was spiking today. You need to understand the relationship gold has with the dollar. If you do not understand that, you definitely need to read up on that. We have Ford. I did have a subscriber go ahead and tell me to look at Ford. Ford was oversold, so Ford does move very. I would say it's one of the least volatile stocks out there you could play. So I'm definitely not too worried about this. You see, it's down 6 cents on the day. That's really not moving the market, or it's not moving the stock too much. And as we have the penny stock trade right here, as you see, like I said, it was a promotion at 0.0002. Now we're still at that 0.0002, and we see what happens with these promotions. Not all the time do they work, and we're still, we're going to keep holding this to see if the promoter is definitely going to keep pumping this name up. So as we see, it has definitely not moved so far. This is day 2 of the promotion, and then we have Lululemon. We have now turned negative on the position, and we made $30 so far, but we turned negative on the position. And this is PLX. This is definitely the penny stock I told you guys I was going to hold, simply because we were I bought about what I bought at 110, even though the stock was trading at 107. So when you put in these market orders for such a large amount of shares, it is hard for you to get filled. And also, when we're dealing with stocks that don't have a lot of volume going on, it is definitely even harder to actually fill those prices. So when you trade stocks, you typically want to look for this. I would say, what is this? From market open all the way into, I would say, 2 hours after the market open. So I didn't want to give a specific time, just because a lot of people, on different time zones. So for market open, we never buy in the market open. So we want to wait till the market opens around, an hour. We wait just about less than an hour. So we would probably wait about 40 minutes, to get a good gauge of, what stocks are doing. And after that, we go ahead and jump in. So we see the stock became oversold. The market opened right here, 6:30. The stock became oversold at about 6:55. So it took roughly about 25 minutes for sellers to jump out of the stock, and definitely pay attention to that. So when we think about trading these penny stocks, remember they happen at the beginning of the day. If they happen at towards the end of the day, something is definitely up, or somebody's definitely moving that stock. So let me go ahead and go into my comments. I did have a comment today that I was going to address a stock. I know it was Tops. Somebody asked me, do I see Tops actually running? Oh wow, I really don't see this stock actually moving until you have that promoter who was promoting the stock to begin with to actually move the stock like this. So as you see, you see the pattern here, right? You see that the stock goes down, spikes. You see the stock goes down, spikes. Okay, people want to trade it again, went down, spike, goes down, spikes, and we might be due for another spike here. As you see, chalk and oscillator is showing a lot of buy orders coming in. So this might be the bottom for Tops. I really don't know, but it really depends on who's actually pushing this stock. Because when you get to spikes like this, I know a lot of people want to be ahead of the curve, but since you're not in that group, or you're not, I would say you're not in the loop of knowing when that stock is going to go up, it's definitely going to be hard for you to actually, jump into that stock. So let me get my chat. Okay, I have my chat open. So just in case you want to ask me a question, you can definitely ask me a question. But Tops is definitely one that was, promoted by the same guy, by the same chat room. And we know how consistent his trades are. We have a double bottom in the RSI. We see what happened with the, with the RSI right here. And we see what happened with the RSI right here. Low 49, high 61. I might be looking to take profits, but I really don't know. Simply because, I really don't trust stocks that are promoted by other people, simply because, I'm really not aware of where the stock is going to go. and I'm really not aware when they will, when they'll stop promoting it. As you see, there was dead volume right here, and there was dead volume right here, and huge volume spikes right here. So that lets you know there's increased activity for this stock, even though it's not an official company, and they really don't do anything official. So there's definitely increased volatility. So we have tops, and I know we have SPU, as we see here. This is the same pattern that the group does promote. So as you see, we have like a wedge pattern form here, and I guess that's one of his patterns that he tells people to watch out for. So I think Dries was another one that I was asked. And I'm looking at it from a 1 year perspective. As you see here, this stock actually started to pay out dividends, which is very interesting. When I did see the news, I think it was a couple of days ago when they said it was going to start paying out dividends. That was definitely interesting. So you see a dividend of 1 cent. So they're trying to get some kind of credibility here. So I would definitely check back in on this company simply because, we see a spike right here. We see a spike right here. We see a spike at 3,200. But simply because, this thing has gone into so many reverse splits, it really doesn't make any sense. So as you see right here, we have an oversold level right here, and we're kind of bouncing out of oversold level. So as you see, you can really track these penny stocks if you had a long-term view and if you wanted to do some RSI. But I really wouldn't trust, simply these companies because, maybe this company might get delisted sometime soon. I'm not saying it will, but let's say, you get that news, and when you get that news, you're already too late. So we have to stay up to date on all these stocks that are penny stocks, that deal with it. So we have to know our risk allocation. Once we understand that, we can go ahead and move forward and press that buy order. So let me draw your attention to this right here, Cisco. I was able to add some shares. I was able to add to my position right here. As we see where, it's oversold it's oversold, and what happens when things get oversold, they definitely bounce. So I'm definitely investing for a bounce, and I'm definitely investing for Cisco's future because we might see 35 pretty soon once the market definitely gets itself together, and we can all start to get back to that bullish behavior. But for right now, the market is definitely kind of selling off due to geopolitical risk. Like I said, that will be the key word for this week, and it might be the key word for next week. Also, we have to think about international, what is being affected. I think we have the French election. That is definitely one that might cause a sell-off here. So we really don't know. We always want to make sure that we're paying attention to international stocks and domestic stocks as well. We want to make sure we understand how that will affect us. So today I definitely bought some downside protection. Like I said, when I mentioned downside protection, this is what I'm talking about right here. Let me show you the stock. UVXY. Definitely play this if you're feeling, you're feeling like your portfolio is definitely going to take a hit. This is definitely one play to go ahead and take. You see the market is kind of getting strong, but I plotted, support and resistance here. As you see right here, the support and resistance was about, $19 to $20 right here, and we see 21, and it's kind of trading at this range right here. And hopefully we can break out. So if we do break out, that's kind of saying the market is going to go down, but at the same time, we always want to have a bullish trade going on. So definitely we can take some hits right here and definitely invest, I would say trade for some short-term protection. That's definitely going to move our account back up. And, our account will be definitely higher once, the market can definitely get a bullish sentiment going on. But the market really hasn't sold off simply because, there's just a lot of bullish sentiment going on. So we really can't get a really good sell-off. And so, everybody's like, okay, we can't buy here, at these points right here. That's definitely, the market definitely has to go lower. So a lot of people are looking for increased volatility. And honestly, it really might happen. As you see, volatility is definitely increasing. We see the TVIX almost at $50. That is definitely amazing. So we see increased volatility. And what really happened here, what really happened here for this spike to happen up here, we definitely had a meeting. If you weren't aware of the meeting, definitely go ahead and look that up. But basically everybody thought the meeting was going really positive, and once the meeting was over, everybody was saying that the meeting was negative, kind of brought the market down, and we went back to negative levels, which caused me to go ahead and put in some downside protection. So like I said, we always want to use downside protection when we see the market, kind of selling off. And I know you see this line is kind of off right here, but if we definitely go back, we see that, support was met right here. That's typically why I have that line right there. So I don't mean to confuse anybody. So I know, the line might be confusing. So we see the line support right here. And as you see, that support is no longer good. So, the line is definitely negated. So let's see. Another trade that I'm looking at here is AMD. I'm not, I'm not too sure if you guys are familiar with what that company does. It definitely makes, those chips in for phones. It just makes chips for gaming, and that's typically what you need to know about this company right now. On the UVXY, I'm doing about 3% on that. That's definitely a good sign for need to have really good downside protection, because I only buy those shares just so my portfolio can stop going down and we can start to see some strength here in my portfolio. So that's typically what I do there, and that's typically how you can negate the losses in your account. So let me get back to AMD. This is definitely an interesting name that you guys should be paying attention to. You see, we're about to break that trading range that we have been trading in. If we do see a breakdown, it might be a Cisco breakdown, but typically this stock does trade pretty volatilely. We're down 2%, and when you think about those moves like that, you might want to get in, but it depends on your risk allocation. So we're seeing really good support right here, and we see a large bar right here at the $11 level, and we see some support at the $12 level. Let's zoom in. Okay, $12 level, yeah, $12 was pretty good support. So we can go in from a 20-day view. 20-day view is showing us that increased activity to the downside is definitely bringing the stock down, and also, when the market does move down, this stock does go down. So whenever the market is down huge, this stock is down huge. But what was amazing for me is that whenever this stock does cross below $13, it usually bounces back up. So yesterday, you see me trade the stock, it bounced back up from from below 13 and went past about almost 13.25. So what's very interesting about this name is it has now been stuck below $13 for the close. So it finally closed out below $13. We see a large bar. It tried to give out. I mean, it tried to fight its way back to 13, but the market started to go back down. This is that one bullish candlestick right here, but the market definitely went down after that meeting was over. So these names are selling off. So remember, we want to do downside protection. We want to look for names that are selling off. So let's look back at Domino's Pizza. Let's see what that's doing. So we see Domino's Pizza making a small bounce. So you see me alert you guys on Domino's Pizza now. Domino's Pizza is now making a bounce. I think the lowest was about 173. And usually when you break that 175 level, that's usually a sign for the stock to go even lower back to 170. So stocks like these, you might use it for like a $5 increment. So 170, 175, 180. That might be how you look at it. So once we break 175, that's when we go to 80. But we have to break 175, start to move towards 176 for us to actually start to get bullish on the stock. So this is definitely an interesting name. The stock was only down simply because an analyst said, okay, I don't see that, let me see if I can find it. Somebody said, okay, I think Domino's is definitely going to miss, its earnings. So let me see if I can find it, but that is pretty much what drove the stock down over $10. So that's definitely a buying opportunity that does open up for a lot of people that you really don't get every now and then. So when you pay attention to these RSI levels, they definitely give you a perfect price, and they definitely put you in at a good price to go ahead and be profitable. As you see, 2088. I was filled about, let me see if I can give you the actual average price that I was filled in. I was filled in about $20.17. So I started to buy some. Let me give you a breakdown of each buy order I did give. So I bought at 2016 and I bought at 2021. After that, I didn't want to get any more bullish on this bear stock. So I definitely kind of sat back and was like, okay, let me just go ahead and build that up. But pretty much right now, my account is definitely doing pretty darn good, simply because on this bounce that I'm receiving from this stock. And I really do love that. Once you can find a winner, you stick with the winner until the winner can no longer produce. So remember that when you do trade, when you have a winner, we stick with our winners. We never want to sell our winners too soon, simply because you're selling your profits. And I wish I would have took my advice back when I held Apple, but other than that, that's pretty much how you do it. If you have a winner, stick with your winners because they will produce results and they will get you through hard times. So do you have any questions for me? So as we see TVIX right here, TVIX, is getting ready to break that $50 level. Let me go ahead and put resistance lines right here, 47. So when we start to get past that $45 level, that definitely opens the door for higher levels. So 45, what happens? 45, 50. So 45, 40, 47.5 will probably be the next level that we do have to break. But definitely we want to check out, each and every level. We want to pay attention to the volatility spiking. So, okay, you've been eating off ZYNE. Let's check that out. All right. Definitely a pretty good, this is pretty good pharmaceutical stock. What is this? Marijuana. This is a marijuana stock. But definitely, if this is a marijuana stock, this is what people should be putting their money in. Let's look at a 1-year chart. Definitely something that people should be putting their money in. This is yeah, if this is definitely a weed stock, go ahead, buy more of this crap. Yeah, definitely buy more. Simply because when you think about these weed companies, a lot of people hype up, those OTC crappy companies. Look at this growth right here with a publicly traded company on the NASDAQ, $6 to $25. These are companies that we have to pay attention to because a lot of people, they take the easy way out. They think they're really making money, but simply they're only losing money simply because the promoter is definitely just getting them a bit of the price so they can go ahead and sell. But this is definitely one good stock to go ahead and check out, guys. If you're watching this video later, definitely go ahead and look this up because this is definitely a growth stock for you. But as you see, we have a RSI showing us that we're overbought at this level. It definitely finished up 1%. That is definitely a plus. So I say we have to pay attention to stocks that definitely finished up on the day, and this definitely did hold up all day. So this is definitely a stock that I will put on my watch list. This is very interesting. But honestly, okay, I'll look that one up. But honestly, when you think about investing in pharmaceuticals, you really have to be careful because if they do miss a trial or things like that, that is definitely one deal breaker that kind of gets you hurt. But that's I've only been on the upside of those pharmaceutical companies when they do break out and they did good. But I've never been on that downside to where I'm getting hit and I'm down over 50%. Those are typically those huge riskier stocks. But as you see here, there's definitely a lot of growth here. And if you can just follow the RSI right here, sold, got back in at a good price, sold, got back in at a good price. But what we can see here that is consistent is that there are a lot of buyers jumping in on this stock. And people really don't pay attention to that. So let me get into this. All right. So as we see here, I'm not going to say this is one, you should definitely go ahead and jump into. So this is American Outdoor Brands. I think I was actually reading up on this company. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and break down the news for you if you haven't read it already. So it says they complete a $50 million stock repurchase program or a $50 million buyback. So it typically happens when they want investors to feel confident. So like me, if I feel confident in a company, if I feel confident in a company and I see that the CEO is not buying back any stock, I would definitely be worried. But if we see the company buying back stock, that's another bullish sign. But we want to look into those. We want to look into those reports because we want to understand why it went from $31 all the way back to 17. So that's definitely something to check out. So American Outdoor, when you think about it from right here, that is definitely a pretty good pattern right here. As you see, it's almost a head and shoulders right here. So the pattern might be done. So we see shoulders right here, and we have a head right there. So we might see a head and shoulders pattern right here. So I really don't know, but the market was down. This stock is down. That's definitely a note to be taken right here. American Outdoor Brands. So on the earnings, I would say that that dip right there on the earnings was definitely something to check out. But That's how it is. And I see UVXY is almost past $21 right here. Like I said, when we plot our support and resistance level, it'll help us be better off when we trade these stocks. So as we see right here, like I said, we might break out or we might not break out, but usually when we keep knocking down at that resistance level, more than times out of 10, we're definitely going to break out of that range. So we might see us break out of that range, and you might see it on camera. So when we break out, it's usually filled out with a large bar. So typically a larger bar such as like this, which is going to pierce it, which is going to pierce the the resistance level, and that takes us higher. But that's only if the market definitely starts to feel a little bearish and people start to go ahead and look for safety trades such as gold, silver, whatever you have. And also they tend to jump into these as well. So that's typically how I look at the market. When it's down, I'm definitely trying to look for a safety trade. I'm looking for something to take the losses off the table and turn it into a gain. We look for safety trades, or we look for high leverage safety trades, and that's typically how you make your money for the day. You can bet that the market goes up, or you can bet the market goes down, or you can bet the market goes sideways, or however you want to bet it. All right, so let's see here. We have Darden Brands. This is definitely another growth stock right here. When we think about growth, we want to think about companies that are always, starting to go above and beyond, looking for more revenue growth. As we see right here, this is definitely a restaurant business that you might want to think about buying for a long-term investment, or maybe even for a trade when it does come off these overbought levels. But that's definitely a company that you want to take a look at. I know Olive Garden, Olive Garden is the big one. Remember, unlimited breadsticks, and they have Cheddar's now, and definitely have to read and do more research on that. Expedia was definitely one that I really wanted. As you see, you see me plot the RSI for this right here. We see the RSI definitely take a huge bounce. We see the RSI take a huge bounce right here, and we see the stock take a huge bounce. So we might be range-based trading right here for a while until we can break out of this range. Yeah, Robinhood did answer the phone. Although, they did give me some kind of bullcrap excuse. It wasn't really, too into the, I would say I'm looking towards to actually putting money back into TD Ameritrade, simply because, I really don't deal with problems such as like that one, where, your money is not available and things like that. So, I might come back over to TD Ameritrade and also trade with Robinhood as well. But, there's definitely something I've been thinking about for a while, simply because, the customer service is definitely not there with Robinhood. It's more established with the brokers. But, I asked why would I have to wait so long to answer, to get a phone call? To get answered. And typically their excuse was, we're a smaller company, we don't have that many associates. Okay, that's typical. I understand. But at the same time, I need to know what's going on with my account right then and there, and I need, my questions to be answered. So, that's something that I think about, when I actually do have problems with this account. So when you have problems, Robinhood is definitely not the one. You can actually call up on the phone right quick and get them to answer the phone. It's definitely going to be a while for you to definitely, okay, now we just broke out of 2021. Check this out. Oh, wait. I think the orders just went out. I just seen 21 come across the screen for on CNBC, but this is definitely a trade that you should be aware of. So remember, downside protection. Oh, let's check out the bullish. Let's check out the market trend. We're all the way down to 60. Okay, we're back at 64. So it looks like it really doesn't want to give up. So we get to that 63, 64 level. That's typically a bounce. Oh, okay. We keep going lower. That's the problem. But as you see, it definitely does not want to give up. 63 to 64 is definitely the trading range it had, we've been trading around, and the market continues to go lower. So there's definitely a underlying bid going on. So when stocks typically go down, somebody's always there to buy them back up, and there's really there's no really good sell-off that we could go ahead and say stocks are oversold at this point. It's time to get back in. So it's definitely going to take a lot longer for the market to sell off. So it'll be a lot longer, slower process, simply because there's always people coming in and buying what people are selling. And it's typically good because you need to have a long-term mindset when you do jump in these quality names. Some people trade these quality names like me. I trade the quality names, but at the same time, I want to take profits. And sometimes I might want to go ahead and dip by and buy these stocks. So it's typically why I got Cisco. Simply because it broke out of that trading range, and as you see, it's filled the gap. When stocks fill the gap, it's time to get bullish because it's going back up. So we see it fill the gap right here, and what happened when it filled the gap? It went up. We see it fill the gap right here, and what happened? It went back up. And that's typically what you need to pay attention to. Remember, understand these charts and recognizing these patterns. These will definitely put you far ahead of the competition. So let's check out XRT. Remember, like I said, double bottom. That's only if the market can actually build up some strength. So that's why I've went negative on the trade right here. So we're down about $100 on the day. Really don't care. This is simulated trading. So I really don't have the emotions that I need to have for this account simply because I'm not really feeling I'm not really too concerned about these short-term trades simply because if you can hold them long enough, they'll go back up. And a lot of people do get worried when they start to incur those losses and they start to short the market and things like that. But when you're dealing with being bullish on the market, if you're buying a bullish indicator on the market and you're just looking for it to trade, you can definitely hold on to that for a while and definitely get your money out. There's no need for you to actually hold it for a while. Okay, see if I can catch it. I keep saying these $21 orders. Oh, okay, because it's delayed. It's delayed. So if you look on the actual updated stock chart, you will see that these orders are now printing out $21. So we have seen a breakout, and it's breaking out past that 2107. So like I said, when we see a breakout, it's definitely going to show a large bar, and I'm pretty sure I can assure you that a large bar is definitely found in this chart. So think about that. Remember, these patterns hold true no matter what. Technical analysis will definitely put you on the right track. The market is continually to go down. Pay attention to what the indicators and what the analysts are telling you. A lot of people, they don't pay attention to what CNBC is saying. Now, let's check out a stock that CNBC definitely promotes. A lot of people, they're like, oh yeah, CNBC, it's amateur, things like that. CNBC, if they promote growth. So when you're looking at a long-term perspective of the market, they definitely have, I think about 100 stocks. Let me Google that. They have about 100 stocks. I think it's called the CNBC IQ. And you guys definitely can look at that up. Right now, it's up over 20% since Trump has been elected. And when you think about that long-term growth, that's something that you want to be a part of. And a lot of these people on CNBC, they are money managers. They all have their own investment firms, and it's just a lot of amateurs that say that you shouldn't trust CNBC. These are actually market analysts, people who have certifications, and people who manage millions of dollars. So I'm pretty sure they know what they're talking about. If they can finish up over 100% a year, or they can invest in a name such as AMD. We have analysts invested in his name in December. This was back when it was at $10. They were saying go ahead and buy AMD. As you see now, they're doing, they did over 50%. They might look to buy more, but that's another topic for another day. A lot of people tend to put down on CNBC. So let's go ahead and take a look back at what is it? This is dust. I'm down over $1,000, guys. I'm down over $1,000. I'm trying to short gold. I picked the wrong time to short gold, but believe me, long term, gold is going to go back down. The only reason gold is going up is simply because the market, a lot of people are fearing what's going to go in the market, and I'm pretty sure if I can hold on to gold just a little bit longer, I'm pretty sure we will see a spike. So let me go ahead and put the gold contract in. So a lot of people, they really don't show you the gold contract. So what I was looking at the gold contract, it either gold either fills to 1300, or we get knocked back down, and that's simply what happens. A lot of people are they're starting to see that gold is getting bullish, and a lot of people might want to short gold, but I really don't have time for that. So we see I was alerting that gold was oversold. Time to get in. This is when I got GDX. So I bought GDX 19, sold it around 21. This was around December. Yeah. I bought it December, sold it January. Simply because, when you see patterns like this arise, you definitely want to get in on these names. RSI is definitely the good, the best indicator. Like I said, gold was oversold. I did not get a position in. But if you got a position in on gold, you're definitely doing a hell of a good job right now. We're back to retracing those $25 levels. So definitely think about that when we're looking at the RSI. This is definitely something that you want to look at. So we can talk about penny stocks all day, or we can talk about or we can talk about credible companies that can pay you dividends, that can give you growth, that can that has endless growth over time, and you really don't have to worry about anything. You really don't have to worry about am I going to get out on time? Do I need to sell the stock right now? Things like that. You can keep investing in it, and you can keep getting dividends. And that's typically what stocks I want to focus on for right now. I want to focus on people growing their account rather than actually risking their whole account just to see, a couple percentage higher than the market at the end of the year. So a lot of people they really don't want to show their percentage return. So if you go on my Instagram, Mike the Day Trader, it's the same on my YouTube. I showed that I was up over 80% halfway into the year with about a $300 balance. Go ahead and check that out. I know I have a picture posted, and definitely check that out. A lot of people are scared to show their growth. I've actually worked with accounts less than $50. So I really know how to grow these accounts. So definitely check that out. And the only way you can grow these accounts is definitely holding, being patient, and investing in growth names. I know, you say $50 is not enough, but when you think about it, let's see, NUGT. You would have doubled your money by now. Check this out. Gold oversold, RSI, $5, 14. So you made about triple your money there. You probably had $150 in cash about time the year is ending. So you invest around, this is my birthday, 12/14, 12/20. You invest right here, definitely ride gold back up, do about 300% in profit, and sell the stock and get out and be done with it. That's typically what you have to do in these names. Let's check out the gas contract. Not a lot of people talk about these names. Not a lot of people focus on these commodities simply because they don't know where these things are going. So if you do your homework, you'll understand where these things are going. So we see that gas is bouncing from 250. So if we see gas go back down below that $3 level, that's when we might see 250 again, and either we go lower than 250 or we bounce again from 250. So we bounce from 250 3 consecutive times. So if we go back and retrace that 250, and if we cannot find a bottom at 250, gas prices will go lower. So I know a lot of people have been seeing gas prices. You can look at it on, you can look at it from the contract perspective. You see gas prices are going up, and typically gas prices, they're hard to change because simply when you have a set amount, it takes a while for those prices to change. So that's typically how it is. We can check out the oil contract. We can check out a lot of commodities if you guys want. I know off the top of my head, a lot of people, they might see themselves at a disadvantage simply because they don't know where these commodities are going. So if you found the bottom in oil about, $20 when it was trading at that low point, what signaled that oil was going to bounce at that $20 level that a lot of people were scared at? The RSI was the first person to signal that. So we want to pay attention to the RSI. As we see RSI showing bounces. RSI showing bounces. Double bottom, bounce. RSI, bounce. So this is what we have to pay attention to. I know we can do momentum indicators. If you have TD Ameritrade, you can go to Ad Study, and you can see all these things that you need to understand where these stocks are going. I mean, I really don't understand what's the hard part, or why we need to go ahead and jump in these penny stocks when simply you can get a high percentage return the same as the penny stock. Only if you did your homework, you'd probably come out way above what you did a penny stock, and your money would have been a lot safer, and you wouldn't have to risk a lot to get it done. CLX, definitely one name that I was talking about, Clorox. As we see, Clorox was definitely coming off that bounce, and as we see, the top for Clorox is about 139, 140. We see, okay, we can, like I said, we look back at the history of stocks to understand where the resistance and support is. We see 140 is definitely a tough handle to get at. We see it try to get 140 again, kind of gave out. That was when it was overbought. Maybe a lot of people thought, 140 will definitely be the breakout range. So for right now, I would say Clorox is definitely a stock to buy when the market is down, simply because Clorox doesn't move with the market. It's everywhere. If you can find, if you can find a good point to get in a Clorox, definitely buy that. A lot of people use Clorox. These are, household names. Household names. You see almost $1 in dividends, 80 cents, and as you see, 77 cents. You see it increasing as the year goes on. So they might be working with a dividend increase each quarter, and that might be a good name to think about when you do start to make some profits, and you want to go ahead and say, okay, I don't want to risk my profits. Let me get in some profit. Let me get in some credible names rather than going ahead and trading my $150 in profit. Let me go ahead and buy a share of Clorox, and that way I can actually get. I would look at it as a small return, because now you get the profit, and now you get the dividend for the stock. And that's typically how you should look at the market. So we can keep trading, but also we want to make sure that we have a long-term view on the market. Do you guys have any other stocks for me? I know, like ZYNE, that was definitely a pretty good stock that was mentioned by Greg. That is definitely a really good name. These marijuana stocks, a lot of people are talking about them on the over the penny stock market. But as you see here, $6.25 is definitely outstanding growth when you think about investing in these penny stock. I mean, in these weed stocks. That is definitely a name that you want to be behind. And if you're in it, definitely hold on to it, simply because as we see all the good news happening right here, legalizing marijuana, things like that. Price target to $30. So remember, technicals say once we break past 25, 30 is next. 35 is now the next step. So think about that. Remember, $5 increments. So let's see if we go back to 3 weeks. Before I go back 3 weeks, I want to say this is probably higher than $6. I'm pretty sure this was on the decline. Yeah, and I guessed it. So $43 at the high. So we have seen levels higher than this. Oh, okay, because it's an actual new company on the stock exchange. So it just IPO'd last year. So this is definitely a growth name that you want to take. You want to look at. $4 at its lowest point, jump back up to $22. Are you guys serious? How are you missing this? And you want to invest in these crappy penny stock companies that that really aren't moving anything? You're not risking much if you buy these stocks, simply because they're growth names, they're new companies, and they're looking for some growth, and that's typically what happens. So, and by the way, these are splits, reverse splits, or regular splits. But do you guys have any other stocks for me I can talk about? I guess while the questions are loading, let me go ahead and show you guys CNBC's website, because a lot of people, they really don't do their homework. And we're gonna see if we can find something interesting while I'm on the internet. And we're gonna see if if you're gonna pay attention to the name, if you're not gonna pay attention to the name. But I'm pretty sure there's already something interesting that's gonna happen for the future that you should be paying attention to. So look, boom. First thing, Trump tanks the dollar after saying it's getting too strong. We want to understand what is the relationship with stocks that are going down with the dollar. That's that's what we want to focus on. We want to focus on those equities. What else? PayPal. Buy PayPal because surveys suggest credit card competition fears overblown. Let's check out PayPal's list. Let's see right here. I know these things off the top of my head, so that's kind of where I'm getting them from. So, as we see here, PayPal is really nothing to jump into. So, Twilio. Whoa. Okay, we're gonna talk about Twilio right quick, but hold on. Twilio is definitely a good name. Kramer definitely promotes that. When you think about it, Facebook. Twilio is used in Facebook. I think it's I think they have software, but we're definitely gonna take a look at that. But geopolitical risk. Look, geopolitical risk. This is what's bringing the market down. I know people talk about Trump and things like that, but this is what's bringing the market down. Geopolitical risk. So, all right, Twilio. This was definitely a name that I had in my chat room, And typically, once it IPO'd, I was able to get in at the IPO and trade it for a little bit, and got out for a quick profit. But I really wasn't into holding things that IPO'd and took off, simply because those moves are not justified, and you know, I'm really not sure where the company stock will go, since a lot of these moves are justified. It was a low float. It was a pretty good, a pretty good spike, and a lot of people were pumping it up, since because it is a tech company, and we like tech companies when they IPO, simply because we're looking for that Google, we're looking for that Apple, we're looking for the next big thing that can make us a billionaire or a millionaire. So we want to make sure that we're getting a full year worth of earnings before we jump into the stock. Simply because, let's say we bought it at $23, right? And let's see we bought it at, let's see we bought some more shares, because we see it, we see price doubling. Let's say we bought some more at 50. Okay, let's say we bought some more at 70, 69. Let's say we bought some at that last bid, because that's the last bid before the stock started to go down. Now you're in a position where you're taking a loss and it's sliding down. That is a perfect slide, right? That's why I say we want to make sure that we're, waiting a full year before we can jump into the stock. So as you see, July, April, it's almost a full year, and I want to see what Twilio can do. I might jump in this name with you, but only if it's oversold. So I really don't want to force my hand, into a stock such as like this one. I'm aware of, the business model and things like that. But if the opportunity does come at me, I'm definitely going to buy some shares, and I might hold it long term, simply because the partnership with Facebook is definitely pretty good. And geopolitical risk for traders, it's not good right now. I can't say where it's bad for long term, but for right now, as people keep bringing it up, and as tensions keep getting worse and worse, it's definitely bad for right now. So that's why you see the market temporary sell-off. Like, I call this a temporary sell-off because we've been selling off for just about a month. If people have never been paying attention to, we can take a look at the Dow Jones, and I'm going to get back to Twilio in a minute. But we've hit this to the Dow Jones, and as we see, we've been trading in this range from 2011 all the way, come back now 2003 back to 2005. So we've seen a pretty good sell-off right here. Almost $800 sell-off, bounce back up, and now we're selling off even more, and now we're kind of range-based trading. So a lot of people, they want to invest in these index ETFs. Typically, the index ETFs, they don't provide you with a good enough return, simply because they really kind of stay stagnant. So that's why you have to play some leverage to get an actual return. So let's go back to Twilio. So if you're not keeping up the breaking news, I would like to say geopolitical tensions on the rise. Let me see if I can actually pull this up right here on the video. Hopefully I can pull it up so that way I can show you. Okay, okay. Since it's a demo account, if you're at home right now, definitely turn on to CNBC. They have global tensions rise, and they have the dollar index. They have the 10-year note. They have all those going down. They also have Trump talking about the dollar, and they also have Russia's talking about the relationship with the U.S. is definitely worsening. So that's something you want to pay attention to, and we want to keep, we want to stay up to date. Remember, going to CNBC's website, definitely read some articles on that. That definitely should put you ahead of all the investors and traders that you see that are trying to buy stocks at this point. So back to Twilio. So we have 1, 2, 3, and we're waiting on earnings for the 4th. Let's see, Twilio to announce first quarter for May the 2nd. Now, May the 2nd, let's see what happens. We can read all day, but it really won't let us know what's really going on with the stock. So it's a cloud communications platform company. All right. So it'll definitely, hopefully it'll show some good news. If it can show some good news, this definitely rallies back to 35, maybe even 40. But 26. What price are you in at? Because I knew people that were in at about $56, and I'm pretty sure they're getting hit really hard. Yeah, 56. This was definitely when Twilio was definitely kind of taking that bounce, and Just tell me what price you're in, and I can, I definitely plot it out for you. But oh, we can already see we have resistance right here at 35. Resistance at 35. I kind of guessed it, but resistance at 35. So whatever happens, if this does beat the earnings, 35 is the next level. 35 and 35, it might go past 35 simply because it's a low flow company. But if it gets up to 35, we might see 40. So 35 is definitely the resistance level. Tried it right here, and definitely might try right here. So, since it is an actual new company, as you see, let's see if we can read the reports. They estimated them to lose 19 cents a share, but really they only lost 18 cents a share. That's what brought the company stock up. And let's see, they expect them to lose 13 cents a share. They actually lost 4 cents a share. So this is kind of, they're starting to see a little profits here. So this is definitely a growth name when you think about it. And this earnings call is definitely a critical one. So let's check this out. Earnings less than, they expect them to lose 12 cents a share, and now they broke even. So this is now starting to get interesting here. So if we can actually become a profitable company, buyers are going to start jumping in. But we will know on May the 2nd. So let's go back to, 8 cents, 4 cents, break even. Now we're going to start to make some profits here. So if the company can make some profits here, that's definitely a bullish signal on the stock. But if not, we might get checked out, and this might become a sell-off in this name. So hopefully this company does do good, simply because the partnership with, Facebook and, other business that, that they do have. But definitely, Twilio is definitely an interesting name that, I wish I would have held on to. Do you guys have any other stocks for me to talk about? Well, if you want to hold on to it, definitely hold on to it. I mean, nobody's stopping you from holding on to it. But what I do here is that I want to show you that you can get in and out without taking a loss. So if I can get you to hold the name, but at the same time you're getting in and getting out with a profit and waiting for, okay, to get below, to make sure that you're not taking a loss. Sorry about that. I seen Berkshire Hathaway says it's going to sell about, a percentage of, its holdings in Wells Fargo. So there's definitely a negative note on Wells Fargo when Buffett is starting to sell shares of the company. But anyways, if I can get you in and out, so let's say you bought at 23, you held all the way to 70. Let's say I told you to get out. Boom. You got out, and now the stock is oversold. Okay, I told you to get back in. You got out. Boom. See, you see how that is? I want you to avoid a loss. And that's the whole point of this channel. I want people to avoid losses when they do happen. So, that's what really, that's what really the channel is about. But if you wanted to hold on to the company, you definitely want to feel bullish about it. Definitely hold on to it. If you feel like, it's going to be a growth name and you feel like it's going to go up and they feel like they're going to report their first ever profit, that's definitely a bullish signal for the stock. So like I said, there's a bar that did fill it, but it wasn't, it wasn't really a large bar. But as you see, we're past $21 and now we're at 21.06, 21.04. The highs are about 21.18. So this is definitely a sell-off type of period that we're going through here, and we might experience this all week. And the market is closed Friday, so that's definitely another thing to keep in the back of your head. So you guys have any other stocks you want me to talk about? Now that I'm here, I'm kind of free. I finished my exam, did an interview, feeling pretty good. About some downside protection. Do you guys have any other stocks for me to talk about before I go ahead and leave you guys to do some homework, if you guys are going to do some homework? But yeah, just comment a stock you want me to talk about. All right, so the financial sector, bank earnings are starting to come out tomorrow. That's really when it kicks off, and you have to pay attention to this banking sector. If you want to be long the banks, wait a little bit, wait till these banks start to report, because it might open up an opportunity of opportunity to definitely get into the banking names. But there's really not enough. I really say this is a low volatile stock right here. But if you wanted to definitely add some risk onto this name, you definitely get into FAS. FAS, you see, like I said, 21 to 51. But if you look at the XLF, it goes 17 to 24. So there's definitely a huge amount of growth going on with this name simply because it's leverage. And if we wanted to short it, we just do that. So that's definitely one way to look at it. And as we see, the shorts have definitely been correct on the oversold levels, but just not right here. And that, we want the RSI to be consistent for us. So this is kind of a red flag. So we really don't know if we can trust the RSI for certain stocks simply because, it doesn't give us an accurate reading on that. What if you guys don't have any other questions for me? I definitely will get off and probably go study or something. Oh, by the way, make sure you guys are downloading the CNBC app, Yahoo Finance, Seeking Alpha. And what you do with Seeking Alpha, you add stocks under your portfolio. I know, it has nothing to do with you buying stocks, but you definitely add the stocks under your portfolio and you see typically, what you want to buy and things like that. Because, it'll keep you up to date with every single thing that's going on with the market and all the analyst ratings and things like that. So, it'll definitely keep you up to date with things like that. I'm not sure if I can actually share with you my screen. Let me see. Okay. Boom. All right. Let's go back to CNBC. Let me show you guys how to actually look for stocks on CNBC because a lot of people, they really do struggle with, financial literacy. And that's okay. So because, a lot of people are still learning. A lot of people still don't understand it. But, we definitely want to, pay attention to things like that. I'm not sure why I'm not popping up right now. I guess I'm not able to share my screen for some reason. We were gonna, go down the list and actually look at, each article and see which one, is actually which is actually worth pursuing. So I guess I'll just give you guys the title, I guess. So the one I'll be interested in, like I said, Trump takes the dollar after saying it's getting too strong. We want to see what's the inverse relationship, what's the relationship with different stocks. With the dollar going down, does that make certain stocks go up, or does it make certain stocks go down? All right, now this is definitely a critical one right here. It says your mutual fund manager has probably failed for the past 15 years. So when you think about that, that is definitely true for a lot of people simply because, they use the 401k, they definitely put their money in there. They really aren't concerned with the market actually turning them out a profit. They're really just concerned with them holding their money so that way it'll be ready for a retirement. And they'll probably do like a really small percentage return. But simply, if you really think about it, you can put something in your 401k, like I did a video on it last time. You can be rich by the time you finish working or, whatever have it. You can definitely be rich before you, quit your job or, retire from your job. Simply because they're growth names and you want to always look for growth names. Also, it says, as Apple makes one of its own chips, one supplier is especially threatened. So we see Apple talk about, they're going to switch from different suppliers, from chip makers, because Apple is now selling their own chips. And when you think about that, what stocks does that hurt? What companies does that hurt? We want to do research on that. I know a company overseas fell about 70+% simply because Apple said they might stop doing business with them in the future. So stocks that get hurt like that is definitely something to look at. And when you think about dip buying that, I'm not too sure people are actually going to dip buy that simply because, you need people to actually step in and say, okay, this stock is over, so let me go ahead and step in. But when when you're dealing with most of your capital coming from a retail supplier, and when you look at it from a long-term view, nobody's going to step up and buy that stock. So that's all I have for you guys. Wait for the last question. If there is any last questions, any penny stocks, or I really don't want to encourage you guys to actually play penny stocks if you're not okay with the risks that are involved with penny stocks. So like I said, 0.0002, we're still there, and it's been like what, 2 days already. So let's check it out. This is the marijuana stock. Is oh no, premium water. My bad on that one. So this is typically what happens. The promoter, he buys shares, or he discloses the amount of shares he does have, or he tells you how much he got paid for promoting this company. If he has shares, he's looking to unload as soon as volume does pick up in the stock, and that's typically how he makes a lot of money on that. So that's pretty much how that happens there. That's pretty much what happens and how it happens. And we go back to UVXY. We're back, still above that $21 level. That's pretty bullish for me. That definitely lets me know the market is still selling off, but at the same time, my profits are increasing because my losses aren't being negated, and this is carrying me higher in my portfolio. So we always want to make sure we got that balance out in our portfolio. So if the market is definitely going down, we want to make sure we have kind of a risk. We want to make sure that our way is towards the downside rather than the upside. So when the downside is starting to, I would say when the stock starts to go down, when the market starts to rally, that's when we sell the stock, and then we typically buy the stock back whenever market strength is definitely weakened. So that's all I have for you guys. Comment on the video. Let me know how helpful it was for you. Simply, so that way I could I could talk about the stocks that I did miss and the stocks that you really want me to talk about. So that's all that's all I have for you guys. Take care.